Capricorn. If 2026 were a movie, you'd be the main character type who stays quiet, but carries the whole world. Except this year, the plot twist is, you're not carrying it the old way anymore. You'll carry it with a version of you that's more grown, softer, smarter, and most importantly, carrying it without burning yourself out. I'm being real. Capricorn has a very strange skill. Other people hit pressure and they panic, they complain, they fall apart. You hit pressure and you automatically switch on serious mode, lock into structure, tighten discipline, and just get it done. That's both a superpower and a trap. Because you've lived like that for so long that sometimes you start believing, I have to be able to do it. I'm not allowed to be weak. I'm not allowed to be slow. But 2026 isn't here to make you run faster. 2026 is here to make you change how you run. This year, the biggest question you'll hear on repeat in your head won't be, how do I succeed, but what am I trying to prove, and is it even worth it? Sounds deep? Yeah, but that's the root. Because there are phases where you grind yourself down not because of the goal, but because you're scared people will look at you and think you're not enough. You're afraid of failure, afraid of being judged, afraid of losing control. And Capricorn hates the feeling of losing control more than anything. So 2026 is going to teach you something that's very Capricorn, but also very Pisces season vibe. Inner strength isn't being hard all the time. Inner strength is knowing when to be hard and when to be soft. Knowing when to grind and when to rest. Knowing what's worth bracing for and what you need to release so you can breathe. This year, you'll start to understand a truth. You don't need to live like a pillar 24/7 to be loved, recognized, respected. If we talk about your main themes in 2026, I can wrap it up in 2 sentences. Your career has a very clear door to leveling up, and love has a very clear shift. But both require one condition. You have to prioritize correctly. Not prioritize like, which matters more, work or love. But prioritize like, what is helping you grow and what is draining you dry. Some things look fine on the outside, very reasonable, very safe. But on the inside, they slowly make you go numb. 2026 will make that kind of living unbearable for you. You'll feel it from the start of the year. The energy already smells like a phase change. It's like you're running a long project. Everything still works, it still runs, but inside you, a small voice starts whispering, wait, am I actually living right? And Capricorn usually hates voices like that, because they distract you. But this year, the more you avoid it, the more it comes back. It doesn't come back to ruin you. It comes back to remind you, you have to upgrade your operating system. There are 2 dates I want you to remember like opening markers. Sounds like a teaser, but it fits Capricorn 2026 perfectly. One is January 19. The other is January 22. This is the kind of energy where your mind suddenly feels clearer. You see everything sharper. Not clear in a dreamy, floating feelings way. Clear in a, so I need to do this, drop that, change that way. You'll make decisions that are very decisive, very classic Capricorn. Lock in goals, lock in boundaries, lock in what's actually worth investing in. And the best part is, these decisions won't be only about work. They'll also land in love and relationships. Capricorn loves like you manage a project. You don't like vague love. You want clarity, you want a future, you want a plan. But sometimes because you're so serious, you fall into this situation. You love with responsibility more than you love with emotion. You stay because it's right, not because it's happy. You keep a relationship because I've invested too much already, not because I still get to be myself in it. 2026 will ask you directly, what kind of love do you want? If you're in a relationship, you'll feel this year pushing both of you into a more mature stage. No more guessing games, no more, you should just know. It's sitting down and telling the truth, what I need, what I'm afraid of, what I want to build together. And if you're not heading the same direction, 2026 won't let you drag it out in silence anymore. It's like the universe says, enough. Either upgrade or be free. And if you're single, Capricorn 2026 isn't the kind of year where love immediately blooms pink and shiny, like a K-drama. It's the year you filter your standards. You'll be less attracted to people who are only good at talking. You'll be drawn to people with depth, with responsibility, with stability, who also make you feel light. This year you don't need someone to lean on because you already stand steady on your own. You need someone you can actually relax around. Back to career, let me be honest. 2026 is a year Capricorn can level up easily if you play the game right. Capricorn's old game is work the most, endure the best, be the most responsible. 2026 new game is right role, right power, right boundaries. Meaning, you don't just do well, you must be recognized correctly. You don't just take tasks, you must have decision rights. You don't just carry, you must have a team, a system, a process so it doesn't depend on your human stamina. This year, your golden opportunities often show up as a new position, a big project, an invitation to collaborate, or a door you'd normally think, I'm not ready yet. But 2026 might make you ready in a slightly forced way. Like the universe throws you onto a new field so you grow up inside the work. And what makes you break through won't be doing more. It'll be daring to admit you deserve something bigger. But opportunity comes with a test. Capricorn's test isn't, are you good enough, because you're already good. The test is, can you say no? Can you refuse what doesn't fit? Can you stop taking everything just to prove yourself? Capricorn has a classic pattern. When it's time to delegate, you do it yourself. When it's time to ask for help, you feel awkward. When it's time to rest, you blame yourself. 2026 will teach you one very real sentence. If you want to go far, you have to use your strength in the right places. And why do I call this the year of inner strength? Because it's not just about what you achieve. It's about changing the way you see yourself. You begin to understand you don't need to be the strongest person in the room to be respected. You just need to be the clearest with yourself. You also begin to understand emotions aren't what make you weak. Emotions are data, signals. They tell you whether you're living right or living wrong. One more thing I want to lightly warn you about. 2026 has phases where the energy slows down, like the universe forces you to review everything. There may be times when work progress slows, plans shift, people change their minds, or issues pop up again in things you thought were stable. Capricorn hates anything that doesn't follow the plan. But this year, those slowdowns aren't to break you. They're to make you look closer. Is what you're building actually solid? Is what you're chasing actually right? And is what you're trying to hold on to truly worth it? In this chunk 1, I want you to remember just one thing. Capricorn 2026 is the year you learn to prioritize correctly. Prioritizing yourself isn't selfish. Prioritizing yourself is you laying the foundation so you can love better, work better, and live more truthfully. You'll still have ambition, you'll still want to move forward, you'll still want achievement. But 2026 will make you choose a very healthy version of ambition. Ambitious without self-eroding, ambitious without trading away all your feelings, ambitious while still keeping yourself. And to step into the next chunk, I want to ask you one question as a checkpoint. If this year you could only prioritize one thing first, what would you prioritize? Work, love, health, or peace inside your head? Think carefully. Because that answer is exactly what decides whether your 2026 goes leveling up and blooming, or leveling up but exhausted. Alright, let's move into chunk 2, where I'll go deep into Capricorn's career in 2026. How you level up, where the golden opportunities are, and most importantly, how you take them without turning yourself into a machine. Okay, Capricorn, in chunk 2, I'm going to say it straight. 2026 is a year your career has a very clear door to level up. But it's not leveling up like luck drops on your head. It levels up like you've grinded long enough, stacked enough points, and this year the universe starts paying out. but with an annoying test attached. Do you dare step into the new position, or do you still want to stay in your safe zone? Because Capricorn doesn't fear hard work. You fear one thing: doing something without certainty. You fear stepping into a bigger role and then messing up, losing control, being judged. But I'm telling you, 2026 won't ask, "Are you good?" It will ask, "Do you dare admit you're good?" Sounds backwards, but it's true. Because Capricorn has this thing: you deliver a 100, but you only allow yourself to acknowledge 60. You always feel there's still something missing, still more to prove, still more to push. So sometimes when opportunity arrives, you hesitate. You think, "Let me prepare a bit more." But life doesn't wait for you to finish preparing before it gives you opportunity. Life gives you the opportunity and makes you grow up while you are doing it. In 2026, your career revolves around three things: role, power, and system. Let me translate that in a simple way. Role is where you stand, inside the team, the company, the project. Power is how far your decisions reach. Do you have real decision rights, or are you just the one carrying? And system is how you run the work. Do you have process, support, automation, or is everything just living inside your head? If Capricorn keeps everything in their head, it's basically locking yourself in a golden cage. You might be the best on the team, but you'll be the most exhausted. 2026 will push you out of that style. You'll be forced to shift from doer to orchestrator, from carrying to leading, from being everywhere to designing things so they still run when you're not there. This is your first level up in Capricorn 2026, stepping up in role. You might meet situations like being proposed to lead a small team, being given ownership of a product or module, being pulled into a big project with many stakeholders, or being assigned to stand at the front and fix a messy situation. Capricorn is great at firefighting. You enter, and things snap into form. But the trap is, if you get used to firefighting, people start seeing you as the crisis fixer instead of the strategy builder. So here's the lesson: you have to give yourself a new label. You're not just someone who executes well. You're someone who creates stable results. You design systems. You turn chaos into something that runs. And when you see yourself that way, you'll talk differently, negotiate differently, and get paid differently. This is the most important part. This year, you have to learn to negotiate boundaries like it's a survival skill. Capricorn doesn't like negotiating because you believe doing well should be enough. But the corporate world doesn't run on who's good automatically gets recognized. It runs on who states their value clearly gets recognized. You have to be clear about your scope. Clear about realistic deadlines. Clear about what needs more resources. Clear about what's priority and what's nice to have. If you keep saying, "Yeah, okay, I'll do it," just to get it done, 2026 can push you into a very dangerous state: promotion with burnout. You might level up in title, but have no time to live. You might be trusted, but feel like a machine. And when Capricorn becomes a machine for too long, one day it just shuts down. Burnout with no warning. So remember this line: sustainable growth doesn't come from doing more. It comes from doing better and being supported better. Support here can be people, tools, processes, decision rights, or a sense of enough inside you. Now let's talk golden opportunities. Capricorn 2026 has very practical doors: salary increase, job change, team switch, big projects, or starting something side that can become main later. And it usually comes like this: someone with power notices you, or you get placed in the spotlight. You might not like the spotlight. You like working quietly. But if you keep hiding from it this year, someone else will take the credit you earned. This is when you have to do something Capricorn often avoids: talk about your achievements. Not bragging. Proper recognition. You can do it in a classy way: short reports, clear progress updates, stating it in meetings with data, or closing with a recap email. This year, the people who know how to package value will move faster. I know it sounds like office politics and that doesn't match Capricorn's vibe, but really, It's a skill for protecting your effort. If you do a lot and nobody understands what you created, you'll become, of course. And that, of course, is what kills the career of people who are actually good. Another part of 2026, you'll feel you don't want to do meaningless things anymore. The older Capricorn gets, the more allergic you become to drama, to work done only to make numbers look pretty, to tasks unrelated to actual outcomes. You start wanting meaning. Real impact? Why? And that's when you may face a choice, either stay and redesign the way things work, or go find an environment that fits you better. If you're in a place where you feel, I'm good but I'm stuck, 2026 can be the year you move. Move not out impulse, but because you realize, here, I'm being consumed. Somewhere else, I can grow. Capricorn, moving at the right time is a beautiful move. Because you don't move emotionally. You move strategically. But whether you move or not, what matters is building leverage. There are two kinds, skill leverage and relationship leverage. Skill leverage is your skill set, portfolio, certifications, case studies, anything that makes people instantly see what you can do. Relationship leverage is network, mentors, referrals, people who trust you and pull you into opportunities. Capricorn tends to think skill is enough. But 2026 will show you. Skill gets you into the room, relationships help you get a seat. If hearing all this makes you feel like, that's too much, let me calm you down. You don't have to do everything at once. I just want you to see the game clearly. And your game in 2026 is the increase power game. What does increasing power mean? It means increasing influence. You don't just do tasks, you define tasks. You don't just receive requests, you push back with questions to clarify. You don't just chase deadlines, you design realistic timelines. You don't just take responsibility, you have decision rights. That is, career advancement in real terms. Not just a title, a position. And Capricorn's position in 2026 rises when you step out of the I grind and I suffer alone. Now I'll say something very real. 2026 also has slow phases, like the universe makes you review. When it slows down, Capricorn panics. But sometimes slow is a signal. You're building the foundation. Slow is you fixing something before it becomes a major problem. Slow is life showing you a better option. So if you hit moments where progress isn't what you want, don't blame yourself too quickly. Ask, am I being given time to optimize? A small tip for Capricorn 2026. Split the year into two parallel tracks. Track 1 is your current job. Do well, stabilize, level up. Track 2 is your exit lane. Something you build to increase your options. It can be learning a skill, building a personal project, creating a portfolio, writing professional content, or building a small side hustle. Track 2 isn't for quitting immediately. Track 2 is so you're not trapped. Capricorn with options is extremely strong because you're not afraid anymore. You're calmer. You negotiate better. To end chunk 2, I want you to lock in these 3 sentences as a checklist. Simple but absolutely sharp for Capricorn's career in 2026. 1. This year I don't just work well, I make my value clear. 2. This year I don't carry alone, I build a system so we carry together. 3. This year I choose opportunities that help me grow, not ones that only exhaust me. And moving into chunk 3, I'll go deep into money and the golden opportunities. How Capricorn 2026 increases income, increases leverage, chooses smarter deals, and avoids the trap of working a lot but still feeling like it's never enough. Because I know Capricorn doesn't just want success. Capricorn wants sustainable success, with a real life next to it. Okay, Capricorn, chunk 3 is about money and golden opportunities. But I'll say this first, so you don't misunderstand. 2026 isn't the year you get rich like you won the lottery. It's the year you get richer in the Capricorn way, meaning, because you know how to build a foundation, choose deals, keep discipline, and play the long game. Capricorn has a great mindset, You don't believe in luck, you believe in system. You believe if I do it right, I'll get it. But sometimes because you're so practical, you miss something important. Money doesn't only come from doing more. Money comes from doing the right thing and pricing it right. 2026 will teach you this very clearly. This year, the question is no longer can I make money? It's, am I being paid at the right rate? Because Capricorn often ends up like this. You do too well, so you become the one who carries, and the carrier often gets paid less than their real value. Not because people are evil, but because you don't say anything. You don't bring it up. You don't ask. You think, it's fine, I'll do well and they'll notice. In reality, they notice, and they think, oh, this person can do it. So let's give them more. Undira. 2026 will show you. If you don't price yourself, other people will price you. And other people pricing you usually means a price that benefits them. So Capricorn 2026's first golden opportunity is increasing income through negotiation. Negotiation isn't always asking for a raise. It can be clarifying scope, getting the right title, getting decision rights, getting a bonus tied to outcomes, getting budget to build a team, or improving your working conditions. Straight up, if Capricorn wants more money, you must increase power, because money often comes with power and responsibility. You already have the responsibility. The question is, do power and money come with it? And I know you're shy about it. Capricorn doesn't like demanding. You're afraid people will think you're greedy. But negotiation is actually a form of self-respect. You don't need drama. You just speak with data. You can say, here's what I delivered, here's the impact, here's the level I'm operating at, and here's what matches that. That's it. Soft voice, strong facts, clear message. The second golden opportunity is changing environment or changing role to jump tiers. Here's a harsh truth. Sometimes in one place you do 200% and still only get 10%. But somewhere else, you do the right 100% and get 40, 60%. Not because you do less, but because the market prices differently. And 2026 is a year you should look at the market like a smart Capricorn. Research, compare, prepare options, then decide. Not emotional decisions, strategic ones. If you're thinking about switching jobs, 2026 suits plan switching. Meaning, you don't jump to escape fatigue, you jump to upgrade. You have a portfolio, a value story, a 3-6 month roadmap, and a clear income target. Capricorn doing it properly is insanely powerful. You don't need to talk much. You show outcomes, that's enough. The third golden opportunity is multiple income streams. But I'll say it clearly, multiple income streams doesn't mean you do 5 jobs at once. Capricorn doing that is death. Capricorn's multi-stream 2026 means one stable mainstream, one side stream that can scale. Scale means it grows without you needing to grow your hours at the same rate. Very real examples: project-based freelance, making templates, building tools, package consulting, teaching a small class, creating professional content, building a digital product. These start small, but they create leverage. And 2026 supports you starting that leverage because it gives you options. And Capricorn with options is instantly less stressed. But if we talk money, we have to talk about Capricorn's trap. The biggest trap is, you earn more, but you still feel like it's not enough. You still feel anxious. You still feel like you must save more, secure more, prepare more. And I'm not saying Capricorn is wrong. Capricorn is practical. But 2026 will ask you a very hard question. Are you saving money to live better? Or are you saving money to hide from fear? Because many Capricorns can't spend, can't rest, can't enjoy, can't buy what they like, can't take a trip. Because there's always a shadow in the mind. What if later? What if you lose your job? What if you lose your job? What if family issues happen? And that what if tightens you? This year, Capricorn's money lesson isn't only increasing income. It's learning enough. Enough doesn't mean small. Enough means you have a plan, an emergency fund, investments, and then you allow yourself to live. You allow yourself joy. You allow yourself to breathe. Because if you only save and never live, you become a walking safe. And Capricorn wasn't born to be a safe. You were born to build a life. So I'll suggest a very Capricorn money framework for 2026. Simple but effective. 1. A clear emergency fund, enough so you don't panic when something happens. 2. A clear income growth plan, specific targets by quarter. 3. A plan to invest, learn to increase your personal value. This is your tier upgrade budget. 4. A life budget, so you don't burn out and start hating everything. It's simple, but if you do these 4, you'll feel as solid as a mountain, and still light inside. Now let's talk about the signs that a golden opportunity is coming. Capricorn misses opportunities not because you can't see them, but because you doubt yourself. So I want you to recognize a few signals. 1. People start asking for your opinion more. Your input is treated with more weight. 2. You get assigned work that touches power, decisions, resource allocation, working with bigger stakeholders. 3. You feel you can operate at a higher level, but you're stuck in the current system. 4. You feel very clearly, I'm bored of the old way. Not lazy bored, outgrown bored. When you see these signs, that's when you act. Acting doesn't mean you jump immediately. Acting means you prepare, update your CV, collect case studies, talk to a mentor, survey the market, build a plan. Capricorn, preparing is already half the win. One more thing. 2026 has phases where you review, deals, contracts, money plans can be delayed or changed. When it happens, Capricorn gets annoyed. But I want you to see it as quality control. If a deal is delayed, it might be saving you from bad terms. If a plan changes, it might be forcing you to optimize. Don't collapse too fast. This year, slow doesn't mean losing. Slow means you're doing the process right so you can go long. To end chunk 3, I want you to lock in one key mindset. Money in 2026 isn't only a goal, it's a tool. A tool to make you freer. A tool to help you choose people and choose work. A tool so you don't stay in draining places just because you're afraid of lacking. And I want you to do a tiny exercise in your head, extremely Capricorn. Write down 3 numbers for 2026. Number 1, the income level you want to reach. Number 2, the amount of emergency savings that lets you sleep peacefully. Number 3, the money you'll reserve for living, no apologies, no guilt. Those 3 numbers make you clear. And when Capricorn is clear, you move very fast. Alright, next chunk, we go into love and relationships. What love has a clear shift actually looks like for Capricorn in 2026. What tests show up, and how you love without losing yourself. Because I know, Capricorn can be great at money, great at work, but sometimes awkward in love because you've been strong for too long. Okay, Capricorn, chunk 4 goes straight into the part many Capricorns hear and they go silent for a second. Love and relationships. And I'm saying it up front, 2026 isn't the year your love life is smooth like a lullaby, where everything becomes sweet automatically. 2026 is the year your love life shifts. A shift means it forces you to change how you love, how you choose people, how you keep a relationship, and even change the standards you've believed were right for so long. Capricorn loves for real. You don't love because you feel like it for a moment. When you love, you think future. When you love, you think responsibility. When you love, you want it to last. But the problem is, because you can last, you can also stay in things that no longer fit. You're like, let me try a bit more. They're not a bad person. I can handle it. And Capricorn can handle it. But being able to handle it doesn't mean it's worth it. 2026 will put you in situations where you have to ask, am I loving because it's love or because it's responsibility? Am I staying because I want to or because I'm afraid of change? And this is where Capricorn gets uncomfortable, because you don't like uncertainty. But this shift is necessary. It's not coming to break you. It's coming to help you love better and live truer. If you're in a relationship, 2026 feels like a roll call of truth. Things you used to avoid can't be avoided anymore. For example, do you share the same future plan? The same money habits? The same way of building a home and a life? The same way of handling conflict? Capricorn loves seriously, so you run into these topics fast. You don't like love just for fun. You like love with direction. So this year, you'll see two very clear paths. Path 1, you upgrade the relationship. You start talking like adults, you lock in what matters, and you create a shared operating system. You won't tolerate vague love anymore, the you will see later style. If you fit, 2026 is the year your relationship moves to the next level. Clear commitment, clear responsibility, but not heavy responsibility, more like, we truly choose each other. Path 2. You face the truth that some relationships can't be upgraded because the foundation doesn't match. And Capricorn hurts the most here, because you invested. You carried. You tried. You made it run. But love isn't a project. It won't run just because one person is bracing. Love runs when both people are aligned and both people want it. If you're the only one trying, 2026 will exhaust you until you no longer want to try. And here's the blunt sentence of Chunk 4. Capricorn 2026 learns to stop loving in the mode of, I can handle it, and starts loving in the mode of the I get to be myself. Now, let's talk about single Capricorn. If you're single, 2026 isn't the year you'll just date anyone to fill a slot. 26 will make you pickier, but pickier in the right way. You'll be less swayed by people who create intense feelings, talk beautifully, promise a lot. You'll be drawn to people who are stable, kind, competent, and especially people who make you feel light when you're with them. Because Capricorn often becomes the one who handles everything in love. You handle them, the future, both of you. So this year, you won't want to love someone and then end up being the parent in the relationship. You'll want someone who has responsibility for themselves. Someone with their own life, their own goals, their own inner strength. They don't have to be richer or more capable than you, but they must be mature. And most importantly, they don't make you feel like you have to prove yourself. They make you feel safe in a peaceful way, not safe in the settle to be done with it way. 2026 can also bring old relationships returning or old feelings resurfacing. Like you suddenly miss someone, or someone who used to matter shows up again. Capricorn, when you end it, but in your heart, there's still a carefully sealed drawer. This year, you may open that drawer to look again. Not necessarily to go back, but to understand. Why did I choose that back then? Why did I stay silent? Why did I endure? That's a very Capricorn kind of healing, not loud crying, but staring straight and understanding deeply. And speaking of healing, we have to talk about Capricorn's love pattern. The most common pattern is, you love through actions, but you don't say your emotions much. You take care, you support, you help, you solve problems. But you don't say, what I need, what I'm afraid of, what I hope for. You think, they'll just know. But life doesn't just know. And 2026 will force you to learn how to speak. You'll learn to express needs without guilt. You'll learn to say, I'm not okay, without believing it makes you weak. You'll learn to say, this is how I want to be loved, without fear of being left. And once you start speaking, something interesting happens. The right person stays and understands you more. The wrong person leaves. And that's filtering. That's good. One more point, 2026 is also the year you must balance work and love. Because when Capricorn's career rises, you can get swept away. You'll have phases of being too busy, too goal-heavy, too responsibility-heavy. If you're in a relationship, watch one thing. Don't let your partner feel like they're just a side section of your life. It's not that you don't love them, It's that you naturally prioritize work first. Your partner can understand for a while, but if it drags on, it becomes distance. The solution isn't quitting work. The solution is scheduling love. Sounds funny, but for Capricorn, it works. Your love grows best with stability and presence. You don't need grand dates. You need real time, real conversation, real touch. And you need to show them, even when I'm busy, I still choose you. This year, Love's shift is also about raising your standard for respect. Before, you could overlook things because it's fine. But 2026, you won't want to anymore. You'll see the small signals more clearly. Do they listen? Do they value your effort? Do they keep their word? Do they respect boundaries? Capricorn, 2026, can't tolerate, say one thing, do another. You want consistency. And you have the right to ask for it. Okay, I'll close chunk 4 with one important line. Love this year isn't here for you to lose yourself. Love this year is here for you to come back to yourself. You'll love in a more mature way, clearer, more boundaries and softer. You won't love to carry. You'll love to build together. And before we go into chunk 5, a light test question. In love, what are you most afraid of? Being abandoned, not being good enough, or losing control? Because what you fear most is exactly what 2026 will make you face, so it can stop controlling you. Chunk 5, next, we talk health, emotions, and how Capricorn balances so you don't level up and wear yourself down. Because whether you go far this year depends on how well you keep your life energy. Okay, Capricorn, chunk 5 is about the thing many Capricorns undervalue the most, but it decides everything: your health, your emotions, and your life energy. Honestly, Capricorn is amazing at enduring. You can endure lack of sleep, stress, deadlines, responsibilities. You can brace for a long time and still look normal from the outside. But Capricorn's problem is, you don't realize you're tired until your battery is completely dead. Not tired like a bit low, tired like power off. 2026 won't let you live like that anymore. If chunk 2 and 3 were about career and money leveling up, chunk 5 is about protecting body, protecting mind, so you don't level up by sacrificing yourself. Because I'm telling you, you can rise very high in 2026, but if you don't learn how to take care of yourself, you'll rise high and then crash hard. Capricorn has a rigid belief: I have to be strong. But strong isn't bracing all the time. Strong is knowing when to rest, and resting without guilt. And 2026 will teach you resting without guilt, kind of forcefully. Like, you'll meet situations that make you realize, if I keep running the old way, I'm not okay. It can show up as health alarms: back pain, neck pain, eye strain, sleep disruption. It can show up as mental alarms: more irritability, mood drops, everything feeling meaningless. It can show up as emotional alarms: you're still doing things, but you don't feel joy anymore, only, I have to. Don't panic if you see these signs. It doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're growing. You're entering a new level where your body and mind won't allow temporary hacks anymore. They force you to live correctly, operate correctly. This year, what you need to build isn't a busier schedule. You need to build a recovery system. Capricorn loves the word system, so I'll speak your language. Recovery isn't one vacation and done. Recovery is habit, rhythm. Small things, done consistently. Simple example: if you sleep late, your brain starts running on worry. Worry about everything: future, money, work, love. Capricorn worries quietly, but that worry eats energy like crazy. So sleep is foundation number 1. In 2026, if you keep your sleep stable, you've already won half. Then the body. Capricorn tends to get stiff because you sit a lot, you hold tension in shoulders and neck, you store stress in your back and neck. You don't notice because you're used to it. But being used to it doesn't mean it's okay. This year you should build a light but consistent movement habit: walking, light gym, yoga, stretching, anything. You don't need hardcore. You need consistency. Because Capricorn wins through consistency. Second is emotions. Capricorn can be very deep emotionally, but you don't like showing it. You process everything in your head. You tell yourself, it's fine. It'll pass. But emotions don't disappear because you say, it's fine. They just drop deeper, then they show up through your body or behavior. Like, you suddenly hate everything, or you suddenly get irritated, or you suddenly don't want to talk to anyone. That's emotion demanding to be acknowledged. 2026 will teach you a crucial skill, naming emotions. Sounds like therapy, yeah, but it works. If you can name it, you can handle it. You don't need drama. You just need honesty with yourself. I'm worried. I'm sad. I'm under pressure. I feel lonely. The moment you can say that, you cut 30% of the pressure because you stop fighting yourself. And Capricorn, there's something you need to learn in 2026. Asking for help. Capricorn hates asking. You think it burdens people. You think you can do it alone. But asking for help isn't weakness. It's strategy. People who go far don't go alone. People who go far have a team, friends, mentors, someone to lean on when needed. You don't have to dump your entire inner world onto everyone. You just need one person you trust. Someone you can say, lately I'm a bit overloaded. That's it. And if you don't have that person, then this year you should actively build a soft network. Friends, communities, professional groups, places where you feel you belong. Capricorn is independent, but too independent becomes lonely. This year, you need a bit of connection to stay warm. Another huge piece is boundaries. A lot of Capricorn's health issues come from one thing: you don't set boundaries early. You take on more work, reply to messages at midnight, say, "Awk," when you're not okay, push through because responsibility. Then you get exhausted. Then you blame yourself. That loop is very Capricorn. 2026 requires you to do something extremely clear. Design boundaries like you design systems. For example, what time you work, what time you rest. Anyway, what's in your scope, what's not. What you do when overloaded, who you tell, what you cut, what you delay. How many recovery sessions you need each week. It sounds like planning, but it's how you stay alive. And Capricorn's other trap, you only allow yourself to rest when you're perfect. When everything is done. When everything is stable. But life is never fully done. So if you wait for done to rest, you'll never rest. In 2026, you need to learn to rest by schedule, not by condition. Rest by schedule means, even if it's not finished, I still rest, because I need battery to continue. Let me tell you, resting without guilt is a kind of wealth. Wealth in time, energy, spirit. Capricorn wealthy in that becomes unstoppable. One more point. 2026 is a year you may become more sensitive to environments. You'll notice certain places, certain people, certain conversations drain you. Before, you could tolerate it because social. But this year, you won't want to anymore. You'll choose spaces where you feel respected, recognized, peaceful. That's maturity. You're no longer living to please everyone. You're living to be true to yourself. Okay, chunk 5 ends with 3 survival rules for Capricorn 2026. 1. Your body is the foundation of every ambition. Don't underestimate it. 2. Emotions are data. Listen to them, name them, handle them. 3. Boundaries are insurance. Without boundaries, you'll pay with your health. And before we go to chunk 6, imagine this. 2026 is like climbing a higher mountain. If you keep carrying the same heavy backpack, you'll collapse halfway. This year, you learn to clean out the backpack. Keep what's necessary, drop what's excess. You climb a bit slower, but you reach the summit. Chunk 6 next. I'll summarize Capricorn's 2026 timeline, Q&E, QQ4, tie together career, money, love, health, and lock in the key milestones, so you have a year map that makes you want to stand up and move. Okay, Capricorn, Chunk 6 is where I gather everything into a 2026 year map for you. So when you hear it, your mind has a clear roadmap. When to push, when to hold, when to rest, and when to lock in a big decision. I'll tell it by the 4 seasons, Q1 to Q4, very Capricorn, timeline, rhythm, landing points. But before the timeline, I'll repeat the theme sentence for the whole year so you carry it through. 2026 doesn't make you run faster, it makes you run better. You don't win by grinding to death. You win by prioritizing right, protecting battery right, and choosing the right things to carry. Alright. Koandai. Koan, January to March, the season of recalibration, opening and locking the big plan. This is the phase you set the foundation for the whole year. Koan is like standing in front of a blank board and rewriting the rules. You look back at goals, work, money, love, and ask, what is truly my priority? In Koan, you'll have energy that's perfect for locking in. Locking in here can mean locking in a career direction, locking in a new path, locking in a financial plan, or locking in a relationship with real clarity. I mentioned in Chunk 1 the 2 dates January 19 and January 20, like a flashlight turning on. If you use that vibe, the start of the year becomes very easy for making the right decisions. But Koan also has a special rhythm. Some periods feel slow, easy to misunderstand, easy to review. So in Koan, the smartest Capricorn move is don't force speed. You don't need to accelerate immediately. You need to align direction perfectly. Koan is system setup season. Optimize how you work, rearrange your schedule, drop what drains you, and start building clear boundaries. If you do Koan well, the whole year gets 30% lighter. In love and relationships, Koan 1 is often when you see truth. You'll see clearly who stays because they truly care, who stays because it's convenient, who respects you, who only likes what you can do for them. It's a bit harsh, but Capricorn can handle truth. And the more you can handle it, the freer you become. Q2. Q2, April to June. The season of career momentum, opportunities start knocking. Q2 is when you start seeing the results of Q1. This is the phase your career gets louder. You'll be given bigger tasks, placed in more important positions, or called out more. You'll be busier, with more responsibility. But this is also when you can increase power, increase position. If you ask where Capricorn 2026's golden opportunities sit, I'll say, they often reveal themselves most clearly in Q2 too. Because Q2 is when people start seeing you as someone who can carry. But the test is here. Do you carry the old way or the new way? Old way, take everything. New way, carry strategically. You choose what's worth carrying. You delegate what can be shared. You clarify scope, you negotiate conditions. If you don't set boundaries in Q2, you'll turn yourself into a deadline machine. If you do set boundaries well, you'll level up while still keeping your life energy. Money also tends to move in Q2 too. This is a good time to negotiate a raise, ask for outcome-based bonuses, or at least propose clarity around your role. If you're considering a job change, Q2 is when you should survey and prepare your materials. No need to jump yet, but you need options, because options make you strong. In love, Q2 is a phase of redefining. If you're in a relationship, you may talk about future plans more clearly. If you're single, you tend to attract more mature, more practical people. But remember, Q2 is busy, don't leave love on the shelf. Capricorn loves best when your presence is consistent, not dramatic. Koan. Q. July to September, the season of slowing down to recalibrate, testing your inner endurance. Q3 is when many Capricorns feel, wait, why am I kind of tired? And I'll say it now, normal. Q3 often carries the year's review energy. You may face situations like plans changing, timelines stretching, or having to revisit things you thought were already done. Capricorn hates getting pulled back when you were running smoothly. But Q3 is exactly where things separate. People who rest correctly last. People who keep bracing wear down. So, Q3 is when you have to take health and emotions seriously. 1. Sleep enough, move consistently, and most importantly, don't lock yourself inside your own head. At work, Q3 is perfect for system optimization. You review how you operate, cut the excess, standardize processes, and build automation if needed. Q3 doesn't have to be explosion season, but it's optimized so you don't break. And that is critical if you want Q4 to close beautifully. In love, Q3 can bring emotional tests. You're busy, you're tired, you go quiet more easily. If you're in a relationship, speak. Don't turn tired into cold. If you're single, Q3 is when your standards become clearer. Less drama, less intensity, more peace. Akar, Baiju. Q4, October to December. The season of closing, big decisions, harvest, and real breakthrough. Q4 is Capricorn's natural season. Because Q4 is when you can lock results, lock deals, lock projects, close an old chapter, and open a new one. After Q3 optimization and review, Q4 feels like the final straight road to the finish line. In career, Q4 can bring a meaningful close, official recognition, a proposed new role, or you locking in a choice, stay and level up, or go and expand. And because you've prepared earlier, the decision won't be vague anymore. It'll be a Capricorn decision, stable, clear, planned. Money in Q4 also tends to stabilize more, because you've managed better or increased income leverage mid-year. But Q4 also reminds you, don't pour all your strength into closing everything and forget to live. Q4 is when you can easily overwork to hit year-end deadlines. Remember chunk 5, rest by schedule, not by condition. Love in Q4 is the season of defining. If you're in a relationship, it becomes clearer, either upgrade or release. If you're single, Q4 can bring someone who makes you feel. Love doesn't require bracing, love can still be peaceful. But the biggest point is still you. Can you open your heart without losing yourself? Okay, now I'll compress everything into 6 closing points for the whole year, so you have a life checklist. 1. 2. Kuane. Recalibrate and lock priorities. 2. Jere. Q2. Build career momentum, negotiate power and money. 3. Q3. Review, optimize, protect endurance. 4. Q4. 5. Love all year, shift from enduring to choosing. 6. Self all year, shift from bracing to steady. And here's the ending line for Capricorn 2026 that I want you to remember like a mantra. Something that stays true no matter how many times you replay it. You don't need to prove you deserve it by burning yourself out. You deserve it the moment you choose what truly fits you. And 2026 will reward you when you dare to live right, not just do right. If you want a stronger ending for a long video, you can close with a message that's very Capricorn but also very warm. Capricorn, this year you'll still build something big. But this time, you'll build it with a heart that has room to breathe. You'll still be ambitious, but you won't trade yourself away. You'll still be strong, but you won't be alone. And you'll see, your inner strength isn't bracing, it's being steady. Hey.